Welcome back to Strawhat Crusaders, and welcome to the first episode of February. I'm sure of it.
Why would you so
This is
confidently?
definitely going to come out in February, and
What's the date? What's today's date, Josh?
Today's date, if you're listening to this, the day this comes out, it's February 3rd.
February 3rd.
What time? Where is the person listening to this right now? Where
February
are they?
3rd is a Saturday, so that could be true.
That could be true.
Where are they right now?
Yeah. What time are you listening to?
Yeah,
this?
it's probably like, if you're listening to this, it's probably like 4:08. You're getting ready to get off work. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a Thursday. Wait, no.
It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday. You have your day. You have your Saturday job.
How was y'all's day? I had kind of a terse day myself.
Sorry, I went like Dutch mode or something.
Dutch? What?
Yeah, I speak.
How is that Dutch?
It's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday.
Oh.
Yeah, you're getting good again. Sorry for all our Dutch fans. If that's offensive, you're white. Get over it.
We don't have any listens from Dutch. So
From
Deutsch.
from Dutch
We're about
world.
to get a lot of them.
We
and they're all
are-
gonna be so.
This is like the most recognition they typically get in a podcast. So like
Wow.
they probably will start listening. That'd be awesome if we got like a huge majority of our fan base, like 80% of our fan base is from like Hungary or like
Also not
Somalia.
what Dutch is.
No, I'm just saying from one random country that isn't super popular.
Where are Dutch people from? Why can't I think of
Netherlands.
this right now?
The Netherlands.
Well, they're just from
Okay.
northwestern Europe in general, but their country is the Netherlands.
Okay. What are we here for, Josh?
So here we talk about two things,
What?
right? But before we get into what those two things are, if you haven't realized it yet, we need to. I'm sorry, I'm so snotty and slubbery right now.
That's okay.
I've been quite slubbery.
I feel like
myself.
I
Your
feel like I have
vocabulary.
clogged nose voice right now. I'm sorry.
You don't sound literally any different to me.
Well, to
If
anyone,
anything, you sound better.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, or you're welcome. But anyway, my name's Josh. To my right is.
Oh, I hate it.
I looked to my left, but I said to my
Hayden
right.
and I just stared at each other.
And to Hayden's right is.
Clayton Chalman.
And to Clayton's right is.
Adriana.
And man, that's, I think, everyone.
What?
I think we have a full head
And
count.
to my right is Josh's bowl of spaghetti.
Yeah.
Not spaghetti.
That he
Penne.
won't give me a bite of.
And there's no chance you're gonna hear him eating that on this.
Not a single lick of a
I'm
chance.
like,
Nah.
And you definitely won't hear Hayden eating any of it because he's not going to have any. He didn't ask. He just guilted me.
Whoa.
You never asked that. You never said you wanted to try
Yeah,
it.
but
Hey
did you not
Josh,
see when I was?
can I have the rest of that?
Okay, the
The
rest.
rest.
Everyone can try it.
I
I'm
don't
not
wanna
minding
bite.
people
Never
try
mind.
it.
I don't want to bite.
I don't want to bite either.
All
I
right.
don't even want to bite either.
All right. I guess, I only made it myself, so I guess like it looks gross.
You made that? It looks good.
Yeah, I did
Wow.
make that. Every time you see me with a Tupperware of something, I made it.
Really?
Kind of like Sanchi.
Yeah.
You be cooking.
Yeah. Oh my God, he be cooking, especially this last batch. But
Yeah.
we can't get into that yet. I want to ask first.
What do you want to ask?
Oh
I know
my
everyone's on the
God.
edge of their seat right now.
Yeah.
I want to ask how everyone has been. It's been a week and a half, roughly, since we last recorded, which is too long. But we had the holidays to deal with, and not the holidays you're thinking of.
Nope.
This is a February episode. We're talking about the January holidays.
Yeah, we had 4th of July this past week, which really messed
Yeah.
with our recording schedule.
So
National
how
French Bulldog Day.
Yeah. how's everyone doing? How's everyone been doing?
Good.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Excellent, man.
Just right before this, I was actually just talking about how my life is falling apart.
Yeah.
I have car issues, and everyone knows that car issues suck and messes with your whole dang life. But other than that, fine. I went to a Toadies concert last night, and it was like awesome. It was the first time they played in. They did a song. I'll show you the song. They did one song that got really, really popular that everyone would probably know.
Can you sing it?
Yeah, I could.
Sing it as it goes.
I could sing it.
Please do.
Please do.
I will not.
And go ahead.
Wow.
Okay.
What if I just start making toad noises?
Are they a frog-based band?
No.
Okay.
no,
No, they're a
just,
toad-based band.
Okay, I'm
they're
sorry.
just
Fool.
called toadies.
Yeah, are you crazy?
Yeah.
They're
It was
two
cool. They played my favorite song. It was great. And also I think it's very funny. I rarely know what bands look like even if I know a lot of their songs. So seeing them for the first time, it's all, I don't know why this is, but if there's like a band of like 4 guys and one of those guys looks like the other 3 guys got together and like grew him in a lab, that 4th guy is always the bassist. I don't know why, but they're always so weird looking, but in a normal way.
Isn't that like, wouldn't Usopp be the one? Right? Wouldn't Usopp
I mean,
be
he looks like a freak, yeah.
He's the 4th one. That's why I thought he's the 4th one to join. That's why.
Yeah. But,
That makes sense.
Yeah, they grew him. He grew up.
What did everyone else do this week?
So I, as we know, have been going through job stuff a lot lately.
Yeah, I
Woo.
wanted to ask.
There was that little prank that my most recent workplace pulled on me where they were like, hey, you didn't work Thanksgiving, and that, of course, means by our policy that you have to work on Christmas morning. And so come Christmas morning, I was not there as a funny little joke
Did
on
you
them.
no call no show?
Yes.
Okay.
Whoa.
Fuck this place. They have a system in place, like that wasn't going to be fucking over their servers at all. It was just going to be like cutting down on the company's profit margin, and I'm totally fine with that. So I didn't go. I did not call. I did not show. And then I had a new job lined up as well. That is the same job that I was doing before I went to job hell, the job I really liked.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a title specialist again. And I still have that lined up, but it got pushed back by 2 weeks because the entire onboarding department got the flu, apparently. I was supposed to have my orientation yesterday.
Wait, so
but
you got it. So you're hired.
basically, I have a start date. The orientation is an interview, but the language that they've been using is basically like, hey, come in. We just want to make sure that everything's going to be a good fit, but you'll start on the 14th.
Congratulations.
We're just going to shoot a bunch of bullets at you and see if you can dodge them because it's part of the job requirement.
Yeah.
But that's
I mean,
the last step.
Yeah, but I'm a badass, so I'm not even sweating it.
Yeah.
And so I have that, and now I have 2 fucking weeks where I'm jobless again, and I absolutely burned any bridges to Saltgrass.
Yeah.
So I am going to be picking up shifts for a few weeks at the serving job I had before I got this better job, and I'm not happy about that. But
man.
It's quite
It's
a commute,
something.
right?
it's a bit of a commute, but it's just like the only way that I can be like, hey, I need to make money tomorrow. Are y'all cool with me coming in and only being here for like 4 shifts? And they were like, yeah. So
Wow.
Great.
I've got that. I'm settled. I'm just ready to be at this new fucking job.
Did you have a moment? You don't have to get it if you don't want to.
For sure.
Was there a moment where you had to like tell Saltgrass, I'm done? Or were
No.
they just like, were you just like, I'm not showing up, bye?
Yeah, it's basically just ghosted them. And then at one point, somebody tried calling me, and I just hung up immediately. I got a text from the general manager that was like, hey, I'm back from my Christmas vacation. Because, of course, the managers get Christmas vacations because
a
they're
hole.
special.
He should've died.
I know, right? And so she was like, hey, are you coming in? Are you coming back at all? And I just didn't answer that either because fuck her.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah. It felt very good. It felt very satisfying.
Hey,
I was
buddy,
very happy. with it.
I got advice for you. Don't use them as a reference.
No. Not on my resume even. I was there for like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
We should print a fake newspaper with your obituary in it, and like
That is so dark, Hayden. Oh my god.
just like
Contact this as somebody
Oh
has to
my
be like,
God.
Clayton is dead, actually. Sorry.
Clayton
Take
died.
like a stock image of a car crash. We just throw it on the news in black and white.
Photoshop my corpse.
and
Clay-
all we do is just throw it out upside salt. Are you okay?
Are you all right, Clay?
Something bad just happened.
Oh my god!
Did you stub your foot?
Yeah, I stood up on this thing, and it just, oh my god, it's worse than I even thought.
Are you
I
bleeding?
stood up, no, I don't think so. Sorry, they're talking about the chair, not me. The little thing Like the little guy at the bottom of the chair where your foot kind of rests.
Yeah.
Because these are tall chairs.
Oh, it broke?
I like stood up on it a little bit and it just broke. And then my
Whoa.
feet went forward and kicked the front of this table as hard as possible. And it fucking hurts. So both of my front toes are stubbed.
But you have a new job now, so it's okay.
I have a new job now.
Are you okay? Do you need a second?
I'm good.
Band-Aid?
Hayden, you start talking.
Okay.
Wait, Hayden, shut up. Hold on.
No. I want to listen to the guy that just injured himself. I'm going to
Oh
start
my
talking.
I just
for a
want to
moment.
say, Clayton, I'm so happy for you because I know you were
Yeah.
fucking hating this job.
Me too.
That's crazy.
Hayden?
Hayden, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I've been good. I've been fine. I'm tired. I've been working a lot, and I'm hoping this next week I'm gonna get to have like potentially 2 days off in a row,
Whoa!
which is insane. I think I'm doing like nothing next week for the first time in a while. I have a week. Especially because I think some other things have gotten canceled that I thought were going to happen. And I'm just like, I might have 4 days in a row where all I have to do is like 1 or 2 shows. And that's amazing.
That's so good.
I got some new board games that we got to try out that we haven't gotten to play yet. I got a copy of Root, the board game, for my little board game fans in the audience. We're going to start a Hayden's Board Game Corner section where I get to talk about board games for 20 minutes on this podcast.
Or we could just start a whole new podcast.
We could just start a whole new podcast.
Camel Up podcast.
Oh my god.
I gave my family a copy of Camel Up for Christmas. If you don't know Camel Up, you should look at it. It's one of the, I think, my favorite board games of all
It's
time
so
for
awesome.
playing with people who are not interested in playing complex board games. It's a really good game. But yeah, I got some cool board games, got some cool dice, got to see my family. I'm dog sitting right now, which is awesome. I get to hang out with a dog. I really want a dog right now, and I don't have the time or money. Josh gave me a big nod no and a big like.
And I'm giving a big nod yes.
Yeah. And you're kind of like having the same thing that my parents did, where my mom is very much like, yes, you should get a dog. And my dad is like, do not get a dog.
I have been manifesting this. I've been like, I want one of my friends to get a dog
Yeah.
so bad so that I have regular access to pet a dog.
We don't
I
have-
need
Sounds
it.
selfish.
We have
Yeah,
like
it
a
is.
decently large friend group. Like we
We have
I
no
don't mean
dogs
to,
in
to brag, but like it's like
Well, we have cats in the friend.
we
People
have
own
a
cats.
couple of cats, but there are no dogs in our
Yeah.
like immediate friend group.
Yeah.
Because they're fucking so much to deal. They're so high maintenance.
Yeah.
Have you asked
Some
any of your?
dogs.
Have you like talked to any of your roommates about it? About getting a dog?
No,
Have
I'm
you?
just gonna surprise them.
See, because I want, and this is not what the kind of dog, if we got a dog here, I assume this is not the kind of dog you want. I am a fan of whatever animal, whatever pet I have, I just want it to be like small and shitty, like the worst. Like I want like a hairless cat is something that I would be very
I'd go
interested
for
in
a hairless
having.
cat.
Why?
I would also love like
Why?
a Chihuahua, or just like I just want
love
it to
my dog. You'd love my dog, Lulu.
Fuck yeah! What kind of dog is it?
We
A
don't know.
mutt, but she's like definitely part dachshund.
Uh-huh.
She's got like the wiener dog body and a small little tiny little head.
Uh-huh.
She's
on,
really
Lulu.
cute. Yeah. And she's also weird. She's just weird. She acts like she's like possessed by a ghost. Like she acts haunted.
She's funny.
I know I want a medium to larger size dog. Like I want something that's got like some stockiness to it. I think I've decided. I did have talked to my roommates about the potentials of it, but that's a whole other conversation. The thing is like. I think I've decided if I were to get a dog, my ideal world is I'd go for like a 6 to 8 year old dog, like a middle-aged dog
Yeah.
who I don't have to like train, is kind of a little bit chiller, but I can still just have around and go take on walks. But that's how I've been. Josh, how are you?
I've been pretty good. I had the holidays, the January holidays. They went well overall. I saw my family. I'm in the middle of, I hope I'm still in the middle of a job interview process. Because I had an interview recently, but then the holidays immediately came, and so much to my, not to my surprise, it's been like radio silence since. There's supposed to be like, if I were to move forward, 2 more rounds of interviews for a job, and I think I'd like it, but we'll see what happens. I've been donating plasma like crazy. I've been shooting plasma everywhere, all over the freaking place. Yeah, and they've been gobbling it all up. They've just been gathering all my plasma and I guess giving it to people that need it. I don't know how it works.
Do you think they'll gather enough plasma to make a second Josh, a plasma Josh?
At this point, they could have made like 3 of me like already, and I'm gonna keep giving it to them. I'm gonna keep making more Joshes. I've actually been considering. Never mind.
What is that?
Josh is about to say he's considering having a kid.
No,
That's what it looks
I have thought about and ran through the idea of sperm donations.
So
Whoa.
basically,
Yeah. What? For the money?
Yeah, for the money.
Is it good pay?
It's better than plasma, man. Yeah, it's actually pretty decent.
Who's plasma?
yeah, I've made
man?
like $1 million by now. Who's plasma?
Who's plasma, man? Yeah.
Getting paid to jerk off though, like come on.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, there are ethics to consider because I am not a guy who, like, the idea of creating progeny is a lot. There's a lot. Even being involved in any way, even if I'm not raising them, is very. There's a lot to consider there. You know.
Listen, if we get 10 views on the next video, Josh will open up an OnlyFans because that's the ethical
You can buy
way.
his cum.
Yes, you can buy his gamer girl cum. and you can, because that is the only ethical way to jerk off for money.
No, what? First off, we will get 10 views. We will get, at this rate, at least 10 views across all platforms, especially.
That's the joke,
So-
Josh. Did you know that?
Yes, I did. You know what? This isn't even fun anymore.
Oh no.
I think we should have a poll about which one of us should open up an OnlyFans. And
I think so as
Then
well.
whichever one wins, the rest of us will. And that
Everything except for that one.
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, I'm hoping that I don't have to consider that much longer anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's just that if I did do sperm donate and gave plasma both twice a week, right? Covers my monthly expenses. I did the math.
Damn.
Like, imagine that.
And also, you'd look like a corpse walking around.
You got no cum,
You'd have no,
no
juice.
blood.
You'd be juiceless.
Guys, that's not how that works. They put the blood back inside you, and then plasma regenerates very fast. They put the blood and the however much plasma they took, they put that much worth of saline
And
back
they only
into
take like a couple of sperms out and they shove the cum
Yo,
back
I'm
in.
not like fucking no one. This is not.
They wriggle through them looking for the winners.
Oh my god, yeah. I just look gaunt. I just start looking more gaunt
Yeah.
every podcast. Anyway, this is really not what I expected to talk about.
You brought it up, dude.
Y'all
Adriana
roped it out of
gave
me.
you the out.
I tried to save you.
Y'all just think I'm this show pony clown.
No, I wish I could donate sperm, but my family lineage is riddled with cancer.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I would have to pass some sort of like test or
Oh, that's
consultation.
right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I am generally healthy though, so I think I would. But Clayton, I'm sorry.
Hey, that's okay.
Hey,
I
Clayton
just
jacks off for
want to
free.
get paid to jerk off, man.
Yeah. Well, you're still doing it for the rest of us.
Just start an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
There was a period of my life, and I'll say this on a podcast because we can't.
It's literally insane we're talking about this.
There was a period of my life where I was like, maybe I try to fucking warm myself up. Maybe I try to spread myself and fucking.
Whoa.
Wait,
Whoa,
sir, what?
You
Repeat
what?
Everything that
Yeah.
you just mumbled a bunch, and I.
No, and there was a point for the mumbling, but there was a period of my life where it was something I was considering.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have considered it.
Yeah.
I'm
like,
actively considering it.
Yeah,
I just don't think I'd be.
I know
good
like
at it.
4 people who have just done it, and they were just like, "Yeah, I tried it. It wasn't for me."
Me too. And I just don't think it would be comfortable for me. But I feel like feel like the money would talk.
Yeah.
If I could get if
Yeah.
you can develop a fan base, the money can talk. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
actually
from what I
and
know,
for
it's
you?
more
Yeah.
marketing than like how good you are at marketing than more than how
Yeah.
good you are at like whatever you're doing.
Funny enough,
you're
this
gonna offer money.
podcast
Yeah.
this podcast is kind of a test run to see how good my marketing and
Uh-huh.
audience building ship skills are.
Yeah.
So if this
Now that
is
you mentioned this
successful,
podcast.
Josh,
This podcast is about something else
yeah.
It really is, and we've been talking for 20
for
minutes.
fully 20 minutes.
Fully. Okay.
Should we get into JoJo's?
Yeah,
Yes.
What do we do on this podcast, Josh?
What the fuck?
I'm sorry if we just mentioned this weird thing called JoJo's without getting into what we do on this podcast. But what we do is talk about two things, and those two things are JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Woo.
Okay, written by Hirohiko Araki, produced by David Productions. And then we also talk about something called One Piece, who I don't know who the author is. Don't ask.
Sure.
And I don't watch the anime, so that's not relevant. So we watch and read those, and then we talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about it, believe it or not.
The Josh just is running on empty plasma. Josh just died. That's what you heard.
Guys, I lied. I already donated sperm, and I'm really struggling to stay seated right now.
And then he died.
Yeah. Clayton, you watched five
Count 'em.
episodes of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. How did you feel?
How did I feel? So there were some damn good episodes.
Oh, fuck yeah.
There's
Yeah.
one that I didn't care for too much.
Which was?
Heartfather to me was a little.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Really?
added an extra episode onto the homework.
Yeah,
right?
but that's gonna be covered
Yeah.
already in that episode.
Yeah.
I thought you might like it.
There were lots of parts of it that I did like. There were specifically several things that got introduced that just pissed me off.
Oh, really? What? I
Um,
just thought it was annoying.
we want it-
that
Yeah,
he
let's
was
say-
so annoying. Like, you know.
He's an
he
annoying
was-
guy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
go ahead.
Do we want to discuss this first and then get to the
Yeah.
positives later, or do
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Because mostly I have positives
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
this. I will say this. Stands as a concept were introduced in part 3 as, hey, some people have stands. And that is like, for me, that's all I ever needed. Is like, hey, some people have stands. And it's like, oh, look, this lineage of people, they all have stands. And so it makes sense. Oh, now Holly's getting a stand even though she doesn't want to. Then as it went on, it was like there's a certain amount of stands in the world. And then Araki's like, no, I don't want, there's not the tarot cards. There's all these other ones, the Egyptian gods that they also existed the whole time.
Yeah.
And then after that, in part 4, we find out that the reason that there were all those stands is because they had this fucking arrow, and that's why there's all these stands. And then they made a bunch of stands with that arrow, and then they got that arrow, and now we're learning that there's another fucking arrow, and it's just pissing me off because it's like I don't need this for stands to exist. And for some reason we're getting all this insane work to make there be stand users. I just think the arrow is dumb, and I think all we needed is just the line where it's like, oh, stand users are drawn together. There's Kira who lives in this town, and there's Josuke who got his stand when he was young. That's why there's a bunch of stand users here. It was annoying me that they were like, actually, there's 3 stand arrows. There's a bunch of fucking stand arrows everywhere. And everybody you see, whoever has a stand, has been shot by a bad guy, and now they have a stand.
I don't think that's necessarily what's being
Okay,
what's being
Clayton,
stated.
Clayton,
What's up?
you're wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, Clayton, you are wrong.
Yeah.
The arrow is not stupid.
Okay.
When
Wait,
you
okay.
said that you didn't like the stand arrows, I saw the most amount of rage I think I've ever seen Adriana exhibit.
The arrow will become.
No. Okay,
No, go ahead,
I'm,
Adriana.
I'm kidding. It might see. Okay, yeah. You think that they're like it's like a bunch of unnecessary, I guess, retcon explanation for stand users or whatever.
Yeah.
This is a sensible reaction.
Yeah. I don't know. I definitely was confused. Like, oh, there's so much more mysteries. This like the reason all stands exist. But am I wrong? That's not like how everyone we know has stands, right?
I believe everybody in this part that is not a Joestar has been like, I got shot with an arrow one time.
Yes, because it's this one town, and it's like, what are the odds that there's going to be this many stand users in one town? Kind of high, because because they're drawn to each other or whatever. But there's like a weirdly high ratio of stand users in this one small town.
Like unreal how many, the concentration.
Yeah, I feel like the arrow has other like plot purposes that definitely come together and end up being really cool in my opinion. But I think it's not like an explanation of like stand users in general. It's an explanation of how can I make this huge ensemble cast of this small town and then also have a lot of characters be, I want to make them interesting and have stands. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
This would not, if we just kept to the rule, right? Because I do think establishing the rule, I like that you at least appreciate the rule that stand users are drawn to each other.
Yeah.
Because that is a good thing to have, and it does like lubricate the whole process of this story. But if that were the case, if it was just that made Morio such a high concentration of stand users, that would not make sense considering everything that happened in part 3. They would be running into 10 times as many stand users if that were the case, I think, especially because they were going all around the world. And yet it's established in part 3, the main reason they keep running into them is because they're being sent to them. In Morio, I would understand if like, they run into a random, natural stand user once or twice. That's already crazy. But we're in one location and it's been dozens.
Now that I think about it, there in every part there really is like, how do I make it make sense to have this many stand users in like all in one place and it really and there is some really, I think, creative ways that he does that in future parts.
I will say, I agree. It gets better. The explanation as to what they're dealing with and why they're dealing with it, I think, becomes more fleshed out. I do think it's a crude way to all of a sudden have this arrow, but for me it was a relief because I like the idea that some stand users are naturally born. That was the case for a lot of the ones we met in part 3. But the idea that Dio just developed a stand when he woke up from the ocean, and that's what caused the Joestars to get stands, bothered the fuck out of me. I couldn't stand it. So when I heard that there was actually there was some agency behind it, that Enya actually wanted to make Dio a stand user, and that's why he ended up doing it. It tied it all together much better, and I think it allows the characters who, like, the real head honchos of this part to express their agency, right? Because, like, right now, at the end of the episode, Yoshihiro, Kira's father, is like, I'm going to go create some enemies for you. Now, I can understand if that's annoying, because you're like, I don't want to deal with some more minions. But it does make, like, I don't know, it does allow for more interesting scenarios. And it, for me, makes more sense than just, this town just happens to really be a hot spot,
Yeah, do you not like the idea of the stand arrow or just the way it's being used?
I think I think I don't like the way it's being used kind of most of all. Yeah. But I think part of my frustration is, and I was making a few assumptions here, in this part, it almost seemed, they kind of make it seem like the only way to have a stand, basically, is from a stand arrow. Where, like, people, even the chef, he got shot by a stand arrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, well, he's a good guy, and
Wait,
he also...
No, he didn't.
No,
he didn't?
He's naturally born.
Okay. Well, that's good, at least.
Yeah.
But
which makes sense why he's not a villain. He just happened to be in town.
Does he even know he knows he has a stand, right?
He does.
Yeah, okay.
It developed from his love of cooking.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it seemed like they were like, the arrow is like, that's how stand users even happen. Like, that's where it comes from. Because Kira, and I may be wrong about this, Kira did get shot, right?
He did, yes, when he was young.
Yes.
Or younger.
And I think I would have liked that otherwise, because Kira, he is like such a freak with an assault. Like, he is a monster on the inside to like an extent that is similar to Dio. And so it would have made a lot of sense for me if he just had a stand. And I assumed that I assume every stand user we meet from now on is not going to have been shot with an arrow, in the future parts.
No.
I assume they don't do a whole lot.
I can't really answer that.
Well, no, I'm just going to tell. It's
What?
that every single stand user he's ever going to meet from now on is not shot by. No, it's not like every single person from now on has been shot by an arrow to get their stand.
Yeah.
I guess in my head, I made an assumption too that now, just judging by y'all's reactions, I think is maybe untrue. I assumed that we weren't going to see that fucking arrow after part 4.
Oh.
Buddy,
okay,
I got
No,
bad
yeah,
news.
he follows through on it.
okay, that's good.
If that makes you feel better.
It is an extremely important element that part 4 establishes.
Okay,
It just becomes like part. It is just part of like.
It's just part of the
stand
lore. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. And you'll get more. You might get more elaboration. I don't know if you would even want more elaboration on how that all works, but yeah, some people are naturally born. Some people aren't. But regardless, when a stand manifests in someone, it still manifests from their spirit, and it still is representative of them, regardless of if it was forced upon them. Like Kira's ability, even though it was something that he was given, it's still very much something that represents him, because it still had the arrow doesn't select a random stand for you. It just awakens your potential to have a stand.
yeah, and that's fair. That a lot of what y'all have said have made me hate it less.
That's okay. That's cool.
It's okay if you hate it. I
still don't
was
love it.
completely kidding about my
Yeah,
reaction.
yeah.
Especially with like the way Heartfather does it, where it's just like, oh, they'd already dealt with the stand arrow, and then there just happens to be a second stand arrow.
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
love
like
that.
it's like,
And
and this
a
is
little,
like the only way this is connected to Keicho's stand arrow is the fact that these stand users are just drawn to each other.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's just a coincidence that Keicho's dad and Kira's dad both were affected by Enya and Dio, and drawn to each other.
Are stand arrows drawn to each other? Because there's 2 in Morio.
Maybe.
But I think as well, another thing
Well,
that...
they're held by stand users who are drawn to each other. So
Sure.
yeah,
So at the end of this episode as well, we get... What's his name? Yoshihiro?
Yoshihiro Kira.
Who is going out into the world to shoot more people with stand arrows. And it does to me, like, Kira, and we're going to... Because, of course, we'll talk about him in a sec, was, like, boom, bam. To me, like... more intimidating and interesting than Dio even. I love Kira.
I'm so happy.
And now we've got his father, who's kind of a joke in himself.
Yeah.
Like the dad is like, he's like very goofy, and he's flying around in a picture to just go make some more like fucking like randos pretty much.
Yeah.
And it feels like if we're headed on our way towards a face-off with Kira, who is like the demon who has been haunting Morio, I wish that the stakes around these other stand battles felt a little higher, because we know these people are about to get their stands for the first time. And I guess maybe Yoshihiro is, maybe he's going to seek out like, hey, I need to find some more depraved freaks like my son so that we can have more fucked up assholes for them to deal with. But who knows? But I would love to start talking about the things that I like.
Yeah. Well, to address what you just said, I will remind you, even though the stakes have been established, and they will, I think, in my opinion, for your sake, be fulfilled upon, this is still a slice of life. And this is still a slice of life with stand users. So I wouldn't expect that element to be completely gone, even if the chase is on.
Chase, yeah.
But yeah, so the beginning of this batch, you met Kira Yoshikage.
Yeah.
And he's just going about his day. He's got a little girlfriend.
Yeah.
She's hot.
In a sandwich bag.
And a sandwich bag with a sandwich. He's finger fucking
finger fucking the food, and then he doesn't buy the one he fucks.
He doesn't buy the one that the
Oh
dead
my
hand
God,
touches. He just
yeah.
gets a new one.
And that, I mean, again, that is just like the scary thing about Kira is that he is a demon just fucking lurking in this town.
Yeah.
And
Just
now
like
he's
anyone
here
else.
in a sandwich shop. Nobody knows that they're standing next to a psychopath.
He's a
and
freak.
No.
buying food that they don't realize has been touched by a severed hand.
Oh yeah.
This Araki's that much of a kink shamer. I think that's funny.
I think Aragi, as we'll learn, is very pro king.
I know. I'm kidding.
He's against severed hand.
He's
Yeah.
against severed hands, but I just think it's funny. They're like, look at this freak. He likes hands. What a freak.
I can't
I,
wait.
think, I feel like that's half the reason he's trying to make him out to be a freak.
I can't wait till that scene.
Araki's a foot guy.
That scene, it's gonna happen way later. But when Araki self-reports
Yeah,
his fetish,
yeah.
I
no.
cannot
It's
wait
so
for
funny.
it. No, it's great.
So
Yeah.
when do we get this?
A long time.
time.
Oh man,
Be a long, I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
what's
probably don't
Araki
even remember.
fetish?
It's
You
not
know
even,
what? I don't want to
it's-
spoil
it's-
it.
Yeah.
it's not even
It's
like a
not a
fetish per
spo-
se. I mean, kind of. It's
It is.
he called it Araki. Like he put in the story, he gave a character this little fetish, and then he went. And then later he's like, "Yeah, that's actually me." In an interview.
No,
He's like-
yeah, he was asked if he ever writes himself in characters or whatever.
Yeah, and he
then-
was like, "Oh yeah, that thing I gave that character, that
That's-
was me the whole time." Yeah, like
Wow.
I like that.
That's
So
great.
But it's kind of like a funny thing. It's not like that actually like obscene. Anyway,
Okay.
putting the vampire
Yeah.
horse way before the cart, way before the vampire horse right
Uh-huh.
now. So Kira is he's just having a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Until-
Shigechi steals his girl.
Well, no way.
Shigechi.
Man, as soon as this started
Ruins
happening, I
everything.
was like, God damn it. God
Mm-hmm.
damn it. No. And my beautiful boy Shigechi has to throw down with Kira, and it does not go well for him.
Yeah.
These episodes made me, I was shocked that there was anybody out there that did not like Shigechi. Because he does his best, man, and it's very tragic and very sad. And even in his last moments, he is like fighting to get evidence to Josuke, and he does it. Even after he has exploded, his stand is still like carrying on just to get the button to Josuke.
It's a cocky
Goes out like a
moment.
champ.
Yeah.
You know, I've been very vocal about this. I'm number one Shigechi hater.
Mm-hmm.
In rewatching this
Uh-huh.
episode, I maybe am just a Shigechi non-enjoyer.
What else did you do that with? You hated some other guy, and the same thing happened where you like, after rewatching, Iggy? No.
No,
You
no,
always-
I
you
love
always-
I had
You
that
always
reaction.
liked
that was
Iggy.
Clayton, I think.
Yeah, no, but I feel like no, Hayden, because it was a rewatch. It was like, I rewatched it, and now or maybe
There's
it was.
certainly a few. I mean, the thing is, like, last time I watched the show, I was in early high school.
Yeah.
It's understandable that my opinion of media is going to
My
change a
God.
little bit, but it was Shigechi's sacrifice is a very well done moment and well executed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just think about his mama and papa.
Yeah. He one of the last things he says is he's like, I can't let this guy roam free in a town with my mama and papa in it. And it's like, God damn.
Yeah.
He's just a boy.
Yeah.
And he gets exploded?
Just a world full
It's
of villains,
brutal.
man. Especially those
Those
middle school
3
girls who just
girls.
ignored him bleeding
Oh
on
my
the
God.
in the
Dude.
hallway.
They deserve death. Like, fuck those girls. What the hell?
Well, who do you think the main villain of Part 5 is?
They're the main villain of part 4.
Funny enough, I actually wanted to bring this up. So you remember how you were telling us about Whoop Slap?
Yeah.
About how he's this guy who's barely in One Piece, but he's like there's this fixation around him.
Uh-huh.
So you met the Whoop Slap of JoJo.
Is that the girls?
No.
Okay.
It's the random coworker who describes everything about Kira to those girls who wanted to hang out with him in the beginning. He's that coworker who comes up and he's like, "Yeah, you'll never hang out with him. He's always busy with his work. He's very focused, and yet he has nothing." And he just describes him in such a sultry manner. He is like, it's like a huge meme in Japan that he is like one of the top like best characters, and that he, people have. It's like a whole thing. But when you mentioned Whoop Slap that one time, I was like, oh, that's crazy because JoJo has one of those.
Does this character have a name?
It's just Kira's coworker. No, he's
Kira's
no
coworker.
name. Oh, maybe he was given a name
Kira's
later.
Casey.
coworker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little glub shitto for you.
Mm.
But yeah, so I really love about these episodes too is the level, the tension just shoots through the roof. Like you are,
Shit gets so real.
it gets so real,
fast.
and you are with Kira. You're not viewing this through the lens of the heroes. You are with Kira this whole time.
Yeah.
He is the protagonist of these episodes, and he's just trying to get away with this hand that's starting to rot. And I love that. I love when I think JoJo is especially good about putting you in the seat, like the passenger seat with the villain, and almost making you root for them when you know that you should not. So yeah, he's in his little, he's stuck in a little piece of gym equipment.
Yeah.
He can't get his sandwich.
It is very. He was because he got himself into a real pickle, and it does feel like it's like, oh man, this feels like watching like a psychopath, like a serial killer out in pub. He didn't use his stand at all to like grab that bag, which I thought was interesting.
I mean, like then he might be his stand might be seen. He doesn't know if he's dealing with stand users.
Yeah, but also
To
like
assume that a little kid has a stand.
Well, there's also
though.
two other
he already
kids
knew,
there.
right? No, he didn't know.
He didn't know
That's
yet.
right.
But also, you know,
Well, it's also like you're gonna notice if a bag starts floating in midair and then floats over to this guy and he catches it. You know?
Well, but he was using instead a long unfurled hanger.
Oh, I see.
And it's like at that point, if you're putting
you
something
mean when
out
he was
there,
in the thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I thought you meant
also-
like when he was walking.
I think that element of like Kira is established to not really know how stands work.
Yeah.
And he only uses his stand, so in what we've seen is like in destruction and doing things. I think it's like feasible for him to also just not really think about using it for anything other than its designated purpose.
he
you know?
uses it later to untie his shoelaces.
Yeah, I think that's like after he's.
well, that's
been-
what he's being. Well, he's trying to get away from like an attack.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I think maybe that was just Araki trying to keep you on the edge. Like, is this guy not even a stand user? Because at one point we were watching it with you, and you were like, "Is he not?" Because he hadn't noticed Harvest yet around him. So like,
Oh, that was before his stand
Yes,
was
before he
revealed.
unveiled.
Yeah.
That's probably
Yeah.
why. Yeah.
Well,
okay.
it's right. Iraqi would do it, but to
No,
me,
no,
it,
yeah.
yeah, it
But,
might have just been a little
yeah.
like, well, I'll rope him along for no actual reason. But it's so inconsequential in the end that
It's
like,
hard to
Sure.
be a critic, Clayton. You know all these things, and you think about them from the character's perspective, and you know you should be thinking from the author's perspective, but it's
That's true.
stupid.
You should be a dumb mouth breathing audience member like the rest of us. Okay.
But then he gets out and he starts hurting Shigechi, and it made me cry. It didn't make me cry, but it made me very sad. It made me upset. And Shigechi has a nice little last stand with him too, where he tricks his ass, he punks him, he crawls into the bushes, and he's like crawling inside. And then Kira explodes him. Also, I gotta say, Killer Queen, the best design for any stand we've gotten so far
Smash or
by
pass?
easily smash.
Easily
Like
smashed.
Yeah.
so fuckable.
Literally.
So supple.
Yeah, everything else like so far, like obviously, I think Star Platinum is like the top of the fuck chain so far,
There's a whole fuck chain.
There is
Yeah.
a fuck chain.
and even that Killer Queen is just like far above.
Above Star Platinum.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
That's fair, dude. I'll say this, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. Every villain stand, it's always gonna be S tier. Don't
Oh, yeah.
expect anything less. Like
You mean the design?
just the stand in general. I don't think Araki has missed so far. I don't think he's missed even once with
Yeah.
the main antagonist stands.
he also has a stand. Kira has a stand that tears things apart, and Josuke has a stand that puts them back together.
Yeah.
Yes, bitch. You
They
figured it out.
are diametrically opposed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty great.
He also has a stand that has a second attack.
A substand. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Sheer heart attack.
He'd be so good at laser tag.
Yeah.
yeah, he could just kill everybody.
Killer Queen is one of my favorite stands. I think.
for sure.
Yeah, it's
really
just
good.
So it's such a great name too.
Yes, it is.
It is. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I love Deadly Queen. That's how it's
Lol.
localized. It's so fucking annoying.
That's when I was talking to you, I think a few episodes ago, about like when I was big into JoJo, seeing the edits of like stands being unveiled to the song that they're named after. One of the ones was that whole like monologue to like Killer Queen.
Yeah.
And like it goes
It hits.
kind of
Dude,
hard.
there are some Kira edits that are just like amazing.
We'll
they put to the right Queen song.
We'll have a. Oh, have you seen that video? It was like a TikTok, and some friends got together. Instead of a PowerPoint night, they did a TikTok edit Grammys awards, and they were with the different categories or whatever. And
Yeah.
that'd be so funny.
That is awesome.
Oh my god. Yeah. So yeah, he's in town. And the stand users, they feel Shigechi die, and they all get together.
Yeah, I was shocked seeing all the people that they have gathered. Was like, oh, I guess Cinderella is here and
Yeah.
the cook is here. I don't know what they're gonna do about this, but
Mhm.
I hope the
Right.
cook plays an important role. I
Well,
think that would be awesome.
I think it's also like awareness. Like they're the only ones who can see stands too.
Yeah.
So it's not like, hey, if you see this guy, like beat him, help us beat this guy.
Yeah.
It's more like, hey, let us know if you notice anything because we are trying to find him.
That makes a lot of sense.
Any
Yeah.
other stand users other than everybody that's here right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a problem.
And it makes sense because they're small business owners and people, they're customers. They see a billion customers a day. It's
And people
I think
dying is
too,
not good for business.
because
No.
Josuke, right? He is. If we're talking about that, they're diametrically opposed. Josuke, he puts things back together. He fosters community. He has all these
Yes.
people here for them in this small town that is being ravaged by this terrible person.
Yeah.
And
It
Kira's
is
alone.
like the people, the small business owners, the people who like foster community and do all that, that are like trying to help keep this town on its legs, and that's awesome.
yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Kira's trying to always isolate himself and
Uh-huh.
always leave bridges burned, or
Yeah.
or just never let them be built.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very thematically it just works. It works so good, like
Yeah.
mac and cheese. Just goes together.
We should pick up pace a little bit.
Yeah.
But sheer heart attack, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one I was really excited for.
Yeah.
Jotaro's on the case.
Jotaro is finally in JoJo's.
Yeah.
He is here. Koichi also has some very nice moments in these episodes. And I'm real quick, just toss it out there. I feel bad. I have so many little nitpicky little criticky things. There's a moment where they want to read the tag on the name, and then something starts happening. Jotaro at no point just stops time and goes, and then puts it back. I was like, you can stop time. He's very slowly grabbing a jacket. I feel like you could just grab it and look at it real quick.
Did you go ahead?
Isn't it like established that he has precision eyesight?
Yeah, but he's not.
Star
The tag
Platinum
isn't
does.
facing.
Platinum. Oh, okay. All right.
And also, I should say this.
Uh-huh.
What did Jotaro literally say to Koichi? What was he telling him?
He said, Koichi, no. When
He was
explodes.
saying, Koichi, this is an odd situation. Observe. Be patient. Okay? He was like, I've been in a lot of encounters with stand users, and whenever I jump the gun, shit always goes wrong.
He doesn't-
Even with time stop, he only has about a second or two to use it. And if he had stepped in the wrong place, he would be where he would literally be in the range of sheer heart attack and get fucking exploded. Yeah. So this is one of those. There's one instance that we've already passed where I'm like, Jotaro could have used time stop there, but he was like he literally was just being like too lax, which was during at some point with Chili Pepper.
Yeah.
But from this point on, I'm actually like I gotta say I think Araki covers his bases enough with it. It is a powerful ability, but the range is limited. It has a limiting factor. Also, sheer heart attack is impervious. Like even Star Platinum cannot destroy it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, sheer heart attack was crazy. Koichi, they blow themselves up a bunch, and then Koichi levels up to Act 3.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I assume part of it is just because we've only seen it used once. I don't know if I understand what Act 3's powers are yet. Does he no longer have onomatopoeia stuff?
He does.
He does?
Yeah,
He has access to acts 1 through 3.
Okay.
Right.
Awesome.
Okay.
The gravity thing, was he using a sound effect thing for that, or is that its own thing?
That's its own thing, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like related. Sorry, I'm chewing.
You're good.
It is related, but it's related in a very silly way.
Okay.
Essentially, what Act 3 does is, and this is kind of busted, but it just needs a word, apparently. I'll be real. The only explanation we have is what you saw. So it takes a word that rhymes with 3, and it just needs it to rhyme with 3, and then it can just command. It can just use that as a command.
So it's still like a sound-based, like...
Yeah, it's a rhyming pun.
Yeah.
So he was like 3 gravity.
It was like 3 freeze.
3 freeze.
It's even a slant rhyme.
Okay.
Yeah. And he just uses that, and he can just literally make things.
What if he said 3 me's and then there's 3 Koichis?
He could
Whoa.
technically, as far as we know, that's possible.
Because all 3 of the Koichis bring out Act 3, and
Yes,
they say 3
3
me's.
me's.
The only
Infinite Koichi glitch.
the only limitation we know about this ability is the range of 5 meters, which is obviously like honestly not that much considering the kind of villains we're facing.
Yeah.
But like that is crazy. With this one, with Act 3, you just kind of got to understand he freezes things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else
And
about
it's
the sheer heart attack?
So sheer heart attack itself was just very, it was like very imposing. It's a little fucking thing that you can't do anything about, and it keeps blowing up.
Yeah.
Koichi starts to solve that. Then Kira starts having the worst day of his life.
Yes!
He is at a restaurant when suddenly his hand weighs 1,000 pounds and he's getting like dragged into the table.
Yeah.
And then he starts running home, and then 2 people try to mug him while this is happening, and he has to like explode them and just race all the way back to where Koichi is.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'll make this so quick. I talked a little bit about Godzilla -1. Main character of that, Koichi. That's the character's name.
Yeah.
I've heard it's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I looked at the actor who plays Koichi. He's in the live-action JoJo's Part 4 movie. And he plays Koichi.
Oh my god!
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Have I told you already that the live-action actor
McKenna
for
is in it,
Zoro
right?
he plays Okuyasu
Yeah.
in the live-action movie as well?
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty much the same character if you think about it.
Yep.
But,
Yeah. It was I think that I missed the egg.
I know.
I think his
That was
should
when it
have
was
just
at
been
its
the
most
egg the
powerful.
whole time.
Yeah.
Well, he has access to acts 1, 2, and 3. So I think it would
So
be awesome
maybe-
if he could like go above and turn back into the egg and just
Yeah.
crush somebody.
I really like seeing Kira have to deal with both the antics of being pursued by stand users and just the everyday shenanigans that are intertwining with that. Like, he actually rips that waiter's coat off, or that his waiter's outfit off, and he goes, "Sir, how could you?" It reminds me of, I'm sure this take has been had a million times, but it just reminds me of American Psycho. Like, and
Yeah.
which is a really fun movie in that aspect. Can you tell me? Do you think you could guess who Kira is modeled after? Who real life figure he's modeled after?
A real life figure he's modeled after. I don't know if I could, just off the top of my head. Is it a serial killer?
No,
Okay.
it's a musician.
A musician.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, coming right off to my the people I would go to for Rocky. No, I don't think I could.
David Bowie.
It is David Bowie.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was
David Bowie, my
but
bad.
he doesn't.
Said Bowie.
Yeah, I was wondering about it. I was like, maybe it's a different guy.
I always read it in my head.
That's interesting because to me, I don't see that necessarily.
Yeah, if you see certain pictures of David Bowie, you're like, oh, the resemblance is actually kind of. It's even more pronounced in the manga, I will say. But not super important. I gotta say, Jotaro has some great moments in these fights, and especially I gotta say throughout the fight, I do like his use of time stop. He saves Koichi's ass multiple times, and even the effects they use for time stop, like, or for Star Platinum being summoned, it's like when he summons it, there's a mosaic appears of just like of either Jotaro or Star Platinum, and then it breaks away and Star Platinum's there. I don't know if y'all noticed that. It's like so fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
And then yeah, he gets blown to bits. He has holes all in
To
his body.
smithereens.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he gets back up.
He gets back up.
Because first Koichi
Dies.
has an amazing moment
Yeah.
against Kira, where he's getting his ass beat. He's getting whooped, and then while Koichi's on the ground, he's like, "Your name is Yoshikage Kira," because he stole his fucking wallet and looked it up. And he's like, "Hey, I figured your name out. I'm a dumbass. So if you think you can go against my friends, you're fucked."
Yeah.
And that sends Kira into a rage, and Kira puts Killer Queen's hand through him. He's not doing good. And then Jotaro wakes up and he's like, "Hey, you just killed my friend, asshole."
Yeah.
He's got a great line where he's like, "Man, that's a pretty nice looking watch, but I'm going to break it so you can never see it again." And then when he starts kicking Kira's ass, he's like, "Actually, now that I'm a little bit closer, that watch is fucking ugly."
Yeah.
Which
Hashtag
is
burn.
really good. Jotaro is like part 3 Jotaro. And like he is
Yeah.
not fucking around.
Yeah.
It's a very satisfying beatdown.
Oh yeah.
They all end unconscious on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was really good. And then Josuke walks up.
Bennett.
Yeah.
Bennett.
Because literally Josuke and Okuyasu were coming, and I literally, before it even started hinting towards it, I was like, Josuke's gonna fucking wake Kira. He's gonna heal Kira, and that's how they lose the day. God damn it.
Because right before that, you were like, when Jotaro started beating down Kira, I remember you literally going, "Oh, well, damn, I didn't expect that. How's this going to continue? Because it's over now, right?" That's the same reaction I had, too. I literally said the same things out loud.
And yeah, Josuke, he like goes to the ground and he's like helping Kira up. He's like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And he's like, "I'm hurt. I need you to help me." And Jotaro's like, "Hey, don't worry, I'll help you. I'll help you with your injuries." And he's like, he sees Josuke waking up and he goes, quick, fix me." And Josuke's like, "Quick? That's interesting because I look like a high schooler. Now suddenly you think I graduated from med school or something, you fucking asshole."
Yeah,
you fell
dude.
for it, you punk. You saw my crazy diamond.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
So good. And then Kira cuts his hand off, which I thought was pretty metal. And then very quickly, Josuke's like, "Yeah, I won't be having any of this," and puts Heart Attack back in his hand to make his hand chase him around, which was a badass move. Chase you. And then we get the reveal that Cinderella got besploded and made to help Kira get a whole new face.
Yeah.
Yes.
Crazy stuff.
That is
Crazy stuff. How'd you feel about that little cap off to Kira's escape? How'd you feel about that?
It was pretty good, and it was like that's the way to continue the Kira story, because it's like now we don't even know. We know less about him than we did when it started.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this new person, we can't even like interview anybody. There's no like we don't even have the hope of like having witnesses of anything.
Yeah.
He has just taken over somebody's identity. So
And he
And
knows
he-
who to avoid now.
Yeah, knows so much more.
Yeah.
yeah. So it's quite scary. I assume that we are going to be getting a lot more of this kid that he is living with now. Because I can't see how else they get a lead out of this unless he goes out and starts killing carelessly again.
I wanted to know how you felt about Kira walks into his new life.
Pretty good. It's scary stuff.
Yeah.
He is he has taken over this person. You can tell that the wife in this situation already hated her husband because
Yeah.
Kira starts making dinner and she's like, "What the fuck
Yeah.
is this?"
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting. So far, we haven't seen a whole lot of it. He like steals rent and he's being his cold, careless self, and she is seemingly into that. So I feel bad for this kid who is now stuck in this house with horrible parents.
I mean, his parents' relationship was already kind of shitty, so
Yeah, yeah.
but it's arguably worse
Yeah.
now.
So yeah, that is. I guess we didn't talk. There's certain things about Heart Father we didn't talk about. The battle is pretty cool. There's the moment where Jotaro's like, Josuke, I give up. And then Josuke's like, what? And the father's like, I'm going to kill you. And Jotaro's like, I give up on fighting this guy. And what I'm going to do instead is trap him in a little picture. And pulls that prank on him. And then when he does that too, he's like, quick, Josuke, say something badass. He like tells Josuke to hit him with a one-liner.
That part was so funny.
And then Josuke says something like,
yeah.
we weren't scared of you, idiot.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that moment.
I also do like the moment where he tricks Okuyasu, where he's like trapped and taped up, and he's like, boom, boom, boom. He's like, oh fuck, I found the way out of here. Y'all idiots are screwed. And Okuyasu's like, what? And then he's completely quiet. And he's like, hey asshole, speak up. What are you talking about? And then he gets him to check on him.
Yeah.
And pops out.
Infuriating moment.
That's actually, his house is actually a map in the JoJo fighting game. Funny
Oh
enough.
wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
interesting.
funny place to pick for a map. But
Yeah, it is.
Kira's house. He's
and
got his fingernails.
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a little thing. You'll notice
His-
the first time you actually meet him in his house, he's cutting his fingernails. And also, if you look closely when he's about to fight Shigechi, you could just barely see his fingernails start growing.
That's where
His-
he
his
keeps
murderous
his
intent.
murderous intent.
Yeah.
Which is so funny.
Yeah, and you get that it was like he's when he's black hair. By the way, his hair is terrible.
Oh
His
my
new
God,
hair
yeah.
is fucking awful.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
looks
yeah,
so
yeah.
stupid.
Absolutely.
Everyone hates this hair. I think it just looks like anime hair
I
to me.
despise it. Well, because it's just like there's just not enough spikes to
Yeah.
like fill it out. So it looks like he has a dome head, and then every once in a while there's a little spike.
It looks like really bad Liberty spikes. Like really bad though. Like how did you even?
Yeah. You're right. Shit. You're right. We should just stop while we're ahead.
Yeah.
I would love to keep talking. We're already a little over time with JoJo, so we should freaking move on. But I'm glad you really liked these episodes.
I did.
Do you feel like there's more of a direction for part 4 now? I know that was something you were worried about.
Yes, I think so. It seems like they are here, and I should because how many episodes are left?
I mean, a little less than half. Let's see.
About
15.
Okay, that's more than I thought actually.
Yeah. And I'm really excited to get into that.
Okay, how many more weeks are we going to be talking about this?
We're going to be talking about this.
Part 3.
Was it 3?
3 more weeks. Just 3 more episodes of part 4.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah. And then we get to part 5.
I'm quite excited for part 4.
Sorry, everyone.
I would say though, the best is yet to come with part 4, in my opinion.
Cool.
So
Yeah. And speaking of trains,
speaking of trains, wait,
What?
were we talking about trains?
What?
Yeah, we were.
we
duh.
were, yeah. That's why I said speaking of trains.
Speaking of trains, because we were speaking of trains.
Mhm.
And went out.
One Piece.
What?
That's the name of the treasure
On
on the Grand Line.
One Piece.
Sanji's cooking. Sanji. So this was a great batch. This was a fucking what we read. What did we read? We read 362 to 376, right?
That's correct.
Pretty much it was just the train ride from Water 7 to Annie's lobby.
This is so fun because it's like I think this is like in terms of like narrative. This is about the same like moment of that like Skypiea had with like the death games,
Yeah.
but is like just so much more impactful than the death games were. I know
It's just
because like the
more fun.
death games are
More
like
fun.
yeah, but like this was just so fun. It was a bunch of little minor fights, and we got some great stuff.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm so
I
excited.
haven't
to talk about it.
had this much fun while the stakes being not as I haven't had this much fun with it, I feel like since Logtown, dude. Like this shit was fucking a
I think
blast.
the stakes are high right now. Like the whole train thing.
Yeah, but they're gonna get higher is what I mean.
Yeah. But I don't know. To me, this is all like one battle, which is save Robin, which is like pretty like insanely high stakes. But yeah, you're right. The little battles were like little battles. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, the noodle guy annoyed me so bad though.
Yeah, let's just get that out of the way.
I fucking hated him.
I feel like Oda just was like, man, I've been writing such fire lately. I feel like I'm just like giving them the wrong impression.
Well, but
it was in service of a fucking amazing Sanji moment.
Of course, I was gonna follow that up with Sanji goes hard in this fight. It saved the fight for me. I really was like, okay, this is gonna be the dud of the arc. Hopefully, this is the only dud. But it was only half a dud. The beginning was boring, and then when Sanji's like, you know, typically I wouldn't use my feet.
You mean what? What do you?
Sorry, it looked
you
like
act like I just screamed at you in mid sentence.
No.
That's how you looked at me.
I got worried I cut you off. Did I cut you off?
No.
Oh my god.
You had like fear in your eyes.
I did. I was like, am I being an asshole? So Sanji's like, normally I would only use my feet. You're right, but we're in the kitchen, so I'm gonna use a kitchen. I'm gonna use a cook's tools.
It was that he was fighting ingredients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, love it. One of the best Sanji moments in a while. Really, really good stuff. Gives him a facelift.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
I was hoping that would stay. That would just remain as his face from now on.
Insane. He has a plastic surgery kick under his belt. Like he just has that in his arsenal.
I remember that Sanji like kicked his face and made it look different, but the fact that it was like apparently intentional from Sanji.
Yeah, it was something that he knew he knew after I kick this guy, he's gonna have a glow up.
He's gonna look awesome.
Yeah, basically he got handsome Squidwarded.
Yeah.
He just got hit in the face so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked great.
That was so funny.
Everyone.
Oh, but the part where he like kicks him all the way through the train cars, all the way to the third. That was, and then they look back at him, and he's just like looking at them through the doorway. And all the like, Lucci and everyone in that train car, yeah.
And I imagine that when Frankie punches Nero through the train and lands in between all of them, that's supposed to happen like in the next like moment.
Yeah,
that's the way I read it. Dude, the pacing. The pacing of these chapters was just on fire. Let's just like from the beginning, they're getting the Rocket Man, and they on their way to save Robin. The chase. There was a little bit of a chase involved, and I know what the title I think is going to be for this episode. There was a bit of the chase element was so awesome. I already love the sea train, and now we're having fights on the train. And the atmosphere, it was all like stormy, and Aqua Laguna was just raging the whole time.
Moment with the big wave where like they're shooting at it,
yeah.
And then Luffy and Zoro just walk up and they're like, "All right, blow up the wave."
Literally.
Up the wave.
And
then.
Oh my god!
And then later when he was like, "It's in the way, cut it," and he fucking cuts it.
He cuts the train in half.
That was so
literally. Zoro has not been him this much in a while.
I wasn't even. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
You go. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I didn't even react to the panel of him cutting it. I reacted to the panel of Luffy telling him to cut it.
Yes.
That's when I was like,
Luffy and Zoro were just like sharing the brain cells so well. This last episode.
They were playing catch. They were like,
here, you catch it. And then, because at first when they cut through the wave after like that huge wave that's coming, at first I was just like, oh, that's fun. I was like, for some reason it didn't hit me just how cool that was. But then when Luffy's just like, none of our friends are in these cars, and just the way that he trusts Zoro so implicitly, and then Zoro's like, sure thing, pal.
They were just like in exactly what their element is, which is put them in front of a problem that all they need to do is punch it hard enough, and then they will succeed 1,000,000% of the time.
You know, it's not like they weren't doing this kind of shit before. Maybe the art is just hitting harder. Maybe the framing of just like Zoro just like leaning there, already sheathing his swords, while the two halves of the train are just flying by him, and all their faces are just, they all have soy face while they look at him. But I think what really sealed this was that my heart was not yearning for more drama, because we had this really emotional aspect of Nico Robin and Usopp, like both dealing with their shit.
Who?
Oh, sorry, I meant Sniper King.
Sniper King.
which I loved. I loved it when Usopp walked away, and then Sniper King enter Sniper King. I was so happy
because he's like, I can't help you. You're on your own. Get the fuck out of here. And Sanji's like, whatever. We don't need you. And then he comes back and he's like, hi, I'm Sniper King from Sniper Island, which is an island in your heart.
Don't you want to ask me where Sniper Island is? The setup, and then it being like 10 chapters till we got the punchline to that.
Oh my God.
Don't you want to know where it is? Because he thought of that. That was the first thing he thought of.
Yeah.
And then it worked on Luffy and Chopper later.
There was such a balance of levity and action and stakes and drama, because we have this beautiful timer set up with the Gates of Justice. Yeah. It's like once we get past the Gates of Justice, there's no going back. And you know what I love about this, Clayton, is that I think this addresses one of my main issues with One Piece thus far, because Oda likes to do this thing where he sets up the stakes, but often the stakes are like, we'll die, but I don't believe him, because no one really dies that often in One Piece. But this is not about dying. This is about being separated from your friends, and this is about...
And about her getting tortured.
About her getting tortured in a hellish prison underwater, which can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
And can't wait to see her get tortured.
No. Can't wait to see can't wait to see Impel Down, whatever that's called. But this stake is believable, and I'm fully invested.
I also love so much that at the end of the train fight, we are just exactly back where we started.
Yeah.
That it ends with Robin and Frankie on the front train and everybody else chasing after them. That no progress was made, but it doesn't feel bad at all. Like it doesn't. Like, you don't feel like the rug got pulled out. It's like we wasted fucking 15 chapters.
Yes.
It's like no.
I feel like there was progress. It was just not.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Why?
Oh, okay.
I
couldn't tell who interrupted you.
Accomplished their goals. But then the thing is, like, they did what they needed to do, but the other characters still made the choice. Like, Robin still made the choice to stay on the train.
Yeah.
This, to me, it wasn't for nothing, because what this was them with a pickaxe, and this is Robin, and they're just keep on trying to, like, break her, you know, like, walls, and this was just one, like, hit, and it wasn't enough. It's not enough yet.
I would say that alone, just the two elements of one, Usopp and Nico's incredible conversation, and two, the Frankie brothers and the shipwrights all learning just how powerful and impressive the Straw Hats are. Those two elements make this completely, like, they make this whole thing worthwhile and productive.
Oh yeah.
Also, we got some really fun fights. I'll say this: the Wanzi fight, the only one that wasn't like on point, even though it had its moments. Everything else, Frankie versus Nero.
Oh my God, Frankie versus Nero. Yeah,
Sanji just busting through. Pretty much, this was just Bullet Train, or this was just One Piece Snowpiercer. Like, he was just going through, just knowing that we have these levels, these video game levels set up, and like, here's who's in this train, here's who's in this train. We're gonna find different ways to get these people out of the way. It was just so fun and riveting.
Before we get into Frankie v. Nero, I want to touch just briefly on the Knight guy. The
T-Bone is my favorite side character. He's so fun.
He's so fun, especially because, like, him existing just in, like...
He's special.
We're hitting this, like, part where it's like, okay, we've been fucking with pirates for a while. Now we get to fuck with the government for a little bit. And just from, like, a thematic moment of seeing, like... Yeah, T-Bone is a genuinely, like, good person who is being manipulated, like, by the government and by this patriotism, and it's like it gives him this such like an interesting angle, and then he's also barely a threat. Yeah, because it's like he's the swordsman, and you're like, oh yeah, Zoro's just gonna sweep right through him, and he does.
Yeah.
Although, man, the lead up to that moment, again, the action flowed so well because we had just gotten the epic Zoro cut it in half moment. And then now we have a swordsman who is apparently this big deal, careening towards this train, and they're about to collide, and the tension or the suspense of the moment of, like, this swordsman and this swordsman are flying at each other. Who's gonna win was beautiful. The art was just on point. Everything was good, and this is what led me to really get excited for a good anime adaptation that hopefully Wit Studios will be putting on.
Can I tell you something awesome?
Yeah.
They're doing
Large-
more. Well, go ahead. Go
Large theories. It's seeming like there's a decent chance that Wit Studios is going to create this One Piece anime using the help of AI.
Oh, what?
Yeah. It's not confirmed yet, but in the original tweet from Wit Studios, it was like, we are going to be using groundbreaking new technology to bring forth One Piece. There was a video put forth of like a One Piece AI song that had been made, where it was like, AI,
I heard
AI.
about that.
And it seems like that may be what's hinted at. And if that's the case, I will say I will personally not be watching it, and I would implore everybody else to not watch it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's just a fucking bummer. And kind of
Wow.
a spit in the face of everything that One Piece is and stands for as well.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow,
Wait,
that,
wait.
that
Maybe they
really,
just got
that
new-
really took the wind out of my sails. I'll tell you
Maybe
that
they
much.
just got new pins. Is like the groundbreaking technology.
Yeah, that's like like they have like new glasses.
They got like Bic 3.0s.
Yeah.
But
God.
sorry, we
Wait,
were
is
talking
this-
about how One Piece
Is
is awesome.
this for
That's
the East Blue remake that's happening?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, okay. In the case that since that's not confirmed,
That's not confirmed.
in the instance that that's not the case, and we get a well animated One Piece,
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of moments that I'm excited to see because I was so riveted by this train action
Mm-hmm.
that I was like, I just want to see if maybe the animation did a good job, the Toei version, because I know that at some point the animation gets good. I don't know when.
I think that's like, from what I've heard, it's like the most recent 100 episodes.
Okay, see, I wanted to ask Clayton when, because I went to these episodes and I was like, man, this kind of fucking sucks. Like, they did not capture the essence of it.
No, and I'll say this, for early One Piece, you're in a stretch that is some of the better stuff. Like Water 7 and the Annie's Lobby stuff
Yeah.
is pretty good as far as the anime is concerned. There's some stuff even where I'm going to be like, hey, y'all have to watch this. And I'll also say that after this, we're going to go and immediately watch the anime intro that was a special intro made in this section, the Sniper King intro that they did, which is the theme song that Usopp is singing in these panels. They made an actual song for this.
After we're done recording.
After we're done recording,
Hell
but yeah, no, there's still, that's the thing. Even when it's great, and even in the new stuff, even in the new arc that's like getting all that sauce, there's still moments where it's just like, man, this fucking sucks to look at.
Ugh, that's so disappointing. I mean, because even I have seen snippets, screenshots, and clips of stuff in the new seasons that look like top notch.
Why are you watching snippets, screenshots, and clips, Josh?
I'm not saying it was.
Why
very
aren't
sim-
you scrolling? Why aren't you scrolling on past?
it's like the same two moments that keep fucking like scrolling by. But like the thing is, that stuff compared to what I just watched like yesterday, it's like night and day. Like they clearly did not. This is not me hating on the artists, but they clearly did not have a good budget at all or schedule, whatever it is, for these for One Piece going so far. And I get what you mean now, because I'm like, if I was watching this and I was already used, I was already like accustomed to kind of a poor visual element to the show, but I was also experiencing the story for the first time. I get how people like can still get really attached to it. Mm-hmm. But now that I've read the manga, like I'm just there's not a chance in hell I'm watching that whole fucking anime.
Yeah.
Sorry for everyone out there who loves the anime.
True.
Sorry, what else?
Frankie versus Nero is what I want to talk about, because that
We'll talk about it.
awesome. Frankie, awesome.
Awesome.
When Frankie goes invincible mode.
When he goes Frankie mode.
When he goes Frankie mode and he
Yeah.
just lays down.
What if there's a dial on his cyborg body that it's just constantly been in Frankie mode so far, and then he turns it to not Frankie mode? Wait,
He
he,
turns it to a
actually
different guy.
did that.
He turns
Wait,
it to Skanky
he
mode.
turned into yeah. No,
He
he
goes Centaur.
He turned it to from Frankie mode to Centaur mode. That's
Yeah?
so funny.
And the centaur,
So
awesome.
funny.
That's
So
hilarious.
fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And then for it to be that, for it to like do that, and then it just like wins him the fight.
It like
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's exactly what was needed, and
Because it was a
awesome.
smart move.
Yeah.
As goofy as it was.
I mean, at first he kind of gets his ass beat a little bit, which is funny, but then.
But I think
he
that's
pins
like
him down.
the point, right? Like in my interpretation, like it's a little silly, but it's also a little silly, and it throws off like Nero thinks that is like, oh well, I've decided that I've won this fight, and
Yeah.
allows Frankie to put him in a position where Nero drops his defenses for just a moment, where he can catch him, and all he needs is the one big ass punch.
So his whole thing is adapting, I've realized. That's his
Frankie?
whole character deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
He does seem to adapt.
He also, I love that his back is not cyborg.
Yeah.
It's just like I couldn't reach
How
it.
could it be?
I just couldn't get to it. I love that detail was like thrown in there. So now he's pretty much invincible if he's hit from the front, which is so
Yeah.
cool. And there's that caveat. Makes for very interesting like dynamics in the battle.
Yeah. Nero as well, we see. Nero is a CP9 member who only knows, I think, 4 of the 6 arts.
You know,
Um,
shave, paper arts, tempest kick, and air
Moonwalk.
jump.
Moonwalk, I think it's called.
And
Yeah.
we see how imposing he is, even as somebody that Lucci is like, this fucking piece of shit is not worth our time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So CP9 continuing to be set up very well. We see a moment where Sanji lands a kick on Bluno and almost gets through his
It
iron
rattles
body.
him. It
Yeah,
rattles him. Sanji's kicks are that good.
he's kicking. Sanji's kicking, and Chopper's
kicking.
doctoring.
Yeah. We also get to learn. So we've met CP9, but it turns out we only met the competent half of CP9 until now. Now it seems like we've met the other half that seemingly is a bunch of fools that is at Annie's lobby.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Annie's lobby?
Fucking hole in the ocean. That's
Big
insane.
hole in the
Yeah.
ocean.
That's insane.
It is crazy.
Where does it
Shit,
go?
shit looks amazing.
It looks really cool.
Looks
The
epic.
design of Annie's lobby is so fucking good.
It is
I
so
love
good.
it.
The way it also in its own way, Oda, it sets up. There's levels. There's this gate. There's the island gate. There's the main gate. There's the the whole thing, the courthouse, and then the gates of justice are
Oh my
fucking
god.
massive. They're the size of like the moon. Like they're fucking huge. And then apparently there's a bunch of Neptunians that lie beyond. It's like
Are the Neptunians prisoners, or do they just live there as animals?
Just
That's,
vibe.
that's my
What
question.
my interpretation of
like
when
the
they set it up
Commonwealth.
was that the like Neptunians and stuff are like we're there, but was built around, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
yeah, it's exciting. I want to know. I want them to save Robin, of course. I want them to sail away from this, but boy, do I want to know what's behind those gates at the same time. So there's a lot of intrigue.
I don't know if we're getting it this arc, but I mean, it definitely feels like something that like
Yeah.
they're gonna come back to
will
when
be
it's time
explored.
to Luffy kills the government.
Clayton, I think you'll be really happy to know that I had this experience, but when Luffy jumps the gun after they make this brilliant plan, when Luffy goes, he jumps the gun, and he's like, wow, this place is cool. And then he just starts beating the shit out of a bunch of Marines. I actually got nostalgic for like one of the very first arcs in One Piece, like for Captain Morgan, like
Yeah.
that whole fight.
Yeah.
And I realized that I definitely love One Piece most when the world government is their enemy, and I can't wait to see how that explodes after this, because he's now attacking he's directly attacking a military prison, he's attacking like what's it called? What's
They're almost
Guantanamo
their
Bay, pretty much.
After he gets out of this, his bounty
It's gonna be fucking
is going
huge.
to be bigger than every other person with a bounties combined.
yeah.
That's my prediction. That's
Because like the gates of like past the gates is the military's headquarters, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And impelled down. Is that am I saying it correctly?
Impel down.
impelled down.
Yeah, he's gonna go crazy. He's gonna like triple his bounty at minimum.
And he just wants to save his crewmate. Love that Usopp was the one to tell Robin like,
Right.
you think you can just leave like that? You got to get your captain's permission to leave the crew.
Uh-huh.
And he was like trying to convince her, and yet he's the only one that's not even on the crew.
Yeah. I think he even has a line that's like, I just know one thing. Do not doubt Luffy.
Have
Which is like
faith
so
in Luffy.
clearly what he's like. He's like, I fucking wish that I had faith in Luffy, so you need to, because that is the only way out of this.
I think the way they make up, whenever they make up at some point soon,
Oh,
hopefully
They're gonna
soon,
kiss,
Cry.
and it's gonna be nice.
it's gonna be really, it's gonna hit hard.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Usopp is here, of course, but Luffy does not know that.
Oh my god.
I love that him and
That
Chopper.
panel is so great. Where
Yeah.
Luffy and Chopper reacting to the "it's in your heart" all along, and everybody else, even like the people are like, "Oh, that's that guy I met that one time."
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like that in their heads, Zoro and Nami are like, Usopp, glad he's okay.
Yeah.
You know, they're little children to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was really good. I feel like I have a lot more to say, but
I think it's awesome that all of this is happening in order to recruit Robin, because this is exactly it definitely feels like all of this would be needed for me to appreciate her loyalty, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, in order for me to feel like she's joined the crew and like feel good about it, that she like and for her to form a connection with these other people, insane shit needs to happen, and it's happening. So
they're sparing no expense.
Yeah, for
with,
sure.
With her recruitment and also what we learn about Nico Robin with the way that her where she's from, which I assume is what was the aforementioned O'Hara, was hit by a Buster call. So the idea of more people she cares about like being attacked and massacred in that way is just something she cannot accept, and that's why she's so like, despite any belief she has in her companions, she cannot like risk it. Her heart can't take it.
There's some line where like they talk about it's so despicable that you like the government is specifically doing this because they know that they are exploiting her trauma. And that calls attention to, not only is it villainous to like threaten the Buster call, but the reasoning for it isn't just because it's powerful. It is because she has specifically been traumatized by it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
Yeah, and it's like the whole point that they're wanting to kill her, quote unquote, is because they don't want to kill her. The reason they're justifying killing her is the same thing that they're doing, is so that she doesn't let loose this information that's so dangerous, but then they're trying to gain that same information. So it's like it's all bullshit. It's just it's bullshit.
All they want is to sustain their power.
Yeah.
And I think I made a connection with something we learned earlier, or something we experienced earlier. Can you tell me if I'm right or wrong, or tell me if you can't tell me?
Okay.
But I think I understand now why Aokiji left them, why he spared them,
Why is that?
because he realized how connected Nico Robin was to them, and therefore he knew that the government could use them as leverage so that she would work with them.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Is that not why that happened?
I mean, I'm not going to say that, but
Just tell me I'm right.
no.
It's a good idea.
I don't know. I when I realized that, I was like, even if that's only part of the bigger picture, the fact that I'm even thinking about it, even speculating, is just, I mean, that's just good storytelling.
Whether you're right or not, you're definitely thinking in the correct way. Like that's how One Piece characters and character motivations typically work.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
I just love that I just love that the story made me like, it leaves the tidbits open so well that you can put things together. You know.
Yeah.
There's so many of those moments where it's like your characters do things and you're like, why'd they do that?
Yeah.
And there's always a reason.
And then
That's crazy.
And then you think about it and you're like, oh, that's right. Because this.
True. You got any final thoughts over everything that happened here?
I think that's
I want
it.
more.
Yeah.
And you'll get it.
What's our homework and
This isn't where it ends?
this is not the end of One Piece. There's
Whoa.
actually roughly 780 more chapters.
Damn.
That's great news, actually.
So, I'm going to give y'all some homework, and then I'm going to give y'all a caveat to that as
Okay.
well.
Whoa.
This is, well, I've been having trouble getting I've been having a little bit of trouble like dividing things in a way that is good and makes sense. Sorry, my phone is freaking out.
Aww.
Are y'all okay with a slightly another kind of big chunk here?
Yes, so much.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, since it's gonna. I do think so.
It'll be 22 chapters, which
Cool.
is cool.
Actually, I do like that because we're probably not gonna. We're gonna have a little over a week to do this homework, so I think that should work.
Yeah.
What's
All
this
right.
Caveat?
So, well, first of all, we're going to be reading the ending chapter with those 22. It's going to be 398, almost getting to 400 there. Pretty cool.
Wow.
Wow.
And the caveat is, for this, I would love it, because I know sometimes we've had some bits, and especially I know I'm asking this of y'all when we have a slightly longer section. I would ask that you make sure to read the last 4 or 5 chapters in a place where you're not don't read them in like public or anything, and just try to have a good like sit down and read with those last 4 at least.
Okay.
Not as important with the other ones, but yeah, just to make sure you have a nice experience with them and kind of take it in.
Okay.
I would appreciate that.
The last 4 chapters?
4-ish, yeah.
Okay.
Just the last few chapters. I don't actually have a specific number.
Tonight.
Works for me. I don't doubt that, and I'm excited to talk to you about them.
That
Jojo?
sounds awesome. For JoJo, you are gonna watch 5 episodes. You're going to watch. This will be actually 4 battles, but it's just the way it's gonna have to be this time.
That's fine.
It's fine because one of them isn't even that important. You don't have to
Cool.
remember. But
Whoo, boy.
we have some good ones coming.
Okay.
Some little episodes that I am very, very excited for you to watch. So expect to have some fun.
Yeah.
And to maybe have some intrigue.
Okay.
Yeah, and then including this, guys, 3 more episodes of Strawhat Crusaders where we will cover part 4, and then we're on to the next part, which I don't know. I don't even know if I know the number to that.
What's it called? Golden Wind? Is that part
It's
of
called
it?
Yeah.
Golden Wind.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Well, it
excited.
was. It's called Vento Oreo, but its actual name is the Italian version. But we in English speakers, we just call it Golden Wind.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy.
Are there going to be Italians in it?
Huh?
What? Why would you even think that? That's crazy.
Are you fucking insane?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Clayton, we're gonna have a little talk after
I'm
this.
sorry.
I don't think we're gonna be able to get to our last section, our typical questions section, just because we're running a little short on time. We had a lot to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't wait to see y'all next week to talk a little more about One Piece and JoJo.
Yeah.
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 With that,
And with that,
We love you. Good night.